let's get at it. So Umar Johnson has not been on a podcast in some time. And, the rumblings on the street have been that people don't want him on podcasts. People are not trying to have him on podcasts, whatever. Well, the Danza Project has proven us wrong. The Danza Project is an urban hip hop, Black culture, urban culture podcast. It's pretty popular. Well, they had him on and they recorded this last week. The Danza Project realizing that people want to hear and want to dunk on Umar. So they dropped a 16-minute segment from the 45 to an hour long segment that they're actually going to probably drop on Wednesday. Okay, so here it goes. Danza jumps right in on a topic that first of all, what is Umar doing? I would love for people to stop saying that you're doing something and actually show proof that he's doing it. Because all I see him doing is going to events speaking. I don't see him working with children. What children is he working with? What community is he working with? Come on, people. Stop this, Danza. This is not a good look. But notice the question that he asked. And this I thought was super interesting. Notice the question that Danza asked Umar. And I'm going to back up a little smidgen, give you a little running start.
And when I mean working, you're doing a lot more than most.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
it's
sir.
not just the conversations that you're having on podcasts. It's the works that you're doing in the communities.
Right.
The conversations that you're having with the youth and with people in general. Mm-hmm. Where are you at mentally right now? How do you feel?
Where are you at mentally? How do you feel? That question should be like, hey, where am I at mentally? You know what? I'm strong. I pull away. I spend time with my family. We do family devotion, prayer. I go for a run. I go lift some weights. I've been taking up, underwater basket weaving as a activity. That should be something that he talks about his mental state. How is he keeping his mental state intact? How is he taking care of himself in the stressful place that he's in? Watch what he says. Watch what Umar says. I was like, Danza, shout out to the Danza Project, but man, this dude is playing in your face. Watch this.
I guess for me, the one thing that I just want to finalize is the renovations on the FDMG Academy. We've been almost done for so long, and now we're at the floors. But I'm still scared to say we done, because every time I say we done, something else comes up. So, I ain't been saying nothing. My thing is, when it's done.
What's that got to do with your mental state, though? I understand that you're working, and we're going to use that word real loose, because the word working clearly doesn't mean what you and I probably think it means. But, what are you actually doing? What are you doing with your mental state? I can't wait to get this full interview. I cannot wait to get it, because I think it's going to be wild.
That's when I'll announce it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was supposed to go back to the Breakfast Club, and I text Charlamagne. I said, I'm not coming back up there one more time to tell people we almost done. You feel me?
Yeah.
When we done, I'll schedule with you. I'm not going up to Power 105 again until we done. I'm tired of saying it myself.
Absolutely.
But, sir, that's not the question he asked you. The question he asked you is, how do you feel? Where are you at mentally? That has nothing to do with the building. That has everything to do with you. And I noticed this about Umar. He's going to bring up that text message to Charlamagne and going up to Power 105 every time he gets a chance. Whenever he gets a chance, he's going to mention, I text Charlamagne, the phony and false god, I'm not going to go to Power 105. He mentions that all the time. I don't know if these are the only friends he's got or whatever, but let's let him keep teasing it out.
What I mean, so when we done, that's when I'll do it, man. But we real close. When I fly back home tomorrow, I got to get to the school. They laying the floors now, and
okay, this was last Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that means the floor should have been done over the weekend. And so he should be doing a podcast, a live stream, talking about the floors. But if you also notice, when he did that video recently where he was in the building, he was talking about where he's going to make shirts that say where the school's at and all that kind of stuff. He was walking through the building. Notice he didn't show you the floors. I just thought that was interesting. He didn't show the floors that should be, quote unquote, be getting laid, right? Where, and of course, the obvious question would be, well, where's the money for the floors? Where did it come from? How did you get that money? Because nobody's ever followed back up. None of Umar Johnson's people have ever come back and said, when did your bank accounts get unfrozen, sir? Because you notice the bank accounts was frozen. He didn't have access to money. Then all of a sudden he has access to money. I just want to point that out. I'm just saying, he playing in y'all faces.
Once that's done, we'd be applying for our certificate of occupancy. That's going to be interesting because the city has not been our friend. They tried to sell the school behind our back last month for some frivolous expenses that we should not have even owed.
I'm cutting myself off, and I know some people might be upset about this. Umar Johnson likes to set up these phony barriers to success. So the only way that I could have teachers is that they all have to be a certain height. The only way that I can start my school is I got to be married to 2 queens. He keeps setting up these phony, false, and fake barriers. And those are the reasons why he can't be successful. I'm only going to use black contractors who are willing to work for free, right? I mean, that kind of foolishness. I want you to listen to what he says about the certificate of occupancy. Listen to what he says, and he's already setting up why they won't be able to get the certificate of occupancy. Because what I think is going to happen is the floors are going to get done, and he's going to say that he's not able to get the certificate of occupancy because, and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be on Delaware's fault, not on the fact that nothing is done in that building. But watch this.
When I fly back home tomorrow, I got to get to the school. They laying the floors now. And once that's done, we'd be applying for our certificate of occupancy. That's going to be interesting because the city has not been our friend. They tried to sell the school behind our back last month for some frivolous expenses that we should not have even owed. So I'm going to stay positive, but I'm not looking forward to the inspection because, you know, they can nitpick you to death on that.
Absolutely.
You know, so when people say when you're going to actually be done, that's not in our hands. We have to see what the city says, you know, but I'm hoping after all we've been through, they just say, go ahead. If it's all in order, just pass him, you know, but that hasn't been the experience. Like everything we've been through with the city has been a fight, you know, even to get a permit for the festival. They ain't want to give us that. You know, so it's really been a tug of war with them. I'm just hoping that we don't have to have a protest. I'm hoping we don't have to take them to court for discrimination. I mean, the bureaucracy is mostly black. The mayor's white, but the bureaucracy is black. But discrimination is discrimination, even if you're the same color. Okay. You know, so I'm just, you know, I'm going to just put it in the Lord's hands and see. But we knock it on the finish line. So if all goes well, we should be able to apply for the inspection before the end of the year.
And this.
All right, so he's already setting y'all up that nothing's going to happen. He's already giving you the playbook. We applied for the certificate of occupancy, and they're going to nitpick us to pieces. That's it. So we already know the buildings are not inhabitable. We already know the buildings are in bad shape. We know that.
This is something that most people don't understand in general. Just starting a business is tough, right? And then when you're doing something in the community, it's going to be a lot tougher. When you're dealing with that much square footage, they could find something wrong anywhere. Oh, well, in this corner here. But a lot of people that have never started a business, you know, have never gotten any type of education, what it's like. They have no idea.
Never opened a school, never ran a school, but they're experts in our school.
Yeah.
But, sir, you haven't opened a school. You haven't ran a school. You're not an expert in anything, really, Umar, except talking. I think this is super interesting, the way he goes about this, because, sir, you're not an expert in any of those things. You're not even an expert in tutoring, my guy. You're not even an expert in Saturday school or summer enrichment, because you could have been doing those things the whole time. Because also keep in mind, even if by some twist of fate that he's able to get the certificate of occupancy, where are you going to get students from? The school year is already underway. Is somebody going to really pull their child out of wherever they've been in school? Because he said they're going to apply for a certificate of occupancy at the end of the year. Let's just pretend that they're able to they get the certificate of occupancy January 1. Who going to take their kid out of wherever they've been since August to put them in this ne'er-do-well school in January and then roll up and be done come April? You still got Easter. You still got spring break. So they ain't going to be in school that long, maybe another 10, 12 weeks. So you can pull them out of wherever they are and put them in this little phony, false, and fake school for 12 weeks? Okay. If that's what you want me to believe, if that's what you going to believe, because I don't believe it. Then he's going to go to summer. Oh, by the way, he still got to get teachers. He still got to get curriculum. He still got to get lunch lady. I mean, come on. But can we stop? Can we just go ahead and just stop the cap and just say this is not going to happen? Quit. Just stop.
You know, and I don't get into it, but I hear a lot of it because my supporters send me the clips, and I've heard ridiculous things. I heard people say you can get an HVAC for $5,000. That's a $50,000 unit up there, and that was the cheap one. You feel me?
Yeah.
This is not a house. This is a school. You're not getting no HVAC for no.
Dude, you was talking about an HVAC literally 6 years ago. You was talking about an HVAC so many years ago. It's funny that he has lost the plot of his story. Now look, a $5,000 HVAC, that's serious. But I mean, for real, that was 3, 4, 10 years ago, my guy. Stop it.
$5,000. You know what I mean? Every utility that we had repaired, plumbing, HVAC, electric, every one cost us well over $100,000. Nothing was under $100K for repair. So when I hear people say he could have got this done for $5,000, you don't know.
How much y'all think do you think if with that statement right there, if I say, Umar, show me a receipt for those things and I will pay you the money back, do you think he'd be able to show me the receipt? If you say the electrical costs $100,000 plus, Umar, show me the receipt that you paid somebody, a contractor, a licensed contractor, to take care of this issue, whatever it was. Because, by the way, when he was on the Breakfast Club, he said the school was renovated and it was a $13 million renovation. So, Umar, show me what you got done and I will pay you back that $100,000. You think he'd be able to give me that receipt?
What you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a whole nother level. But my thing is, if you never did it, why are you speaking on it? And if you're not doing anything.
You ain't did it. Brother, you ain't did it. You have not done it. I love this, man. And this is where I feel bad for the Danza Project because they really wanted to, they're on an upswing. They want to have, good guests. They're going to bring a lot of eyes to their platform. No harm, no foul. Shout out to the Danza Project. But Danza Project, this dude is lying in your face. Ask the question, sir, you haven't done it. What is the evidence that you can do this? What is it? Besides you talking loud and saying nothing, what is the actual evidence? I'll wait.
For the people while you speaking on it. See, that's my thing. Definitely I don't think people who don't do work could criticize people who do work. Now, if you doing the work, you say, look, I built me a relevant institution. You can speak to it because you did it.
I can. I've built a very relevant institution. I have. And I know there's several people in this live chat who've built very, very relevant, vibrant, thriving institutions. It's called a family. I'm married to the same woman. I've been married to the same woman as long as Umar been panhandling for money. I got 2 beautiful daughters. One just came and visited me from school this past weekend. We're taking her back tomorrow. Guess what? I've built a great institution. Umar, what have you done? I'll wait. I'll wait right here. Thank you, sir. So all of this foolishness, people need to push back on this. Again, if you are one of these Umar supporters, you're going to have to start asking this question, sir, where is the evidence? You keep saying that you're building institutions. Sir, you don't have an institution. You have 2 abandoned buildings. And people say they're crack houses. Shout out to Cooking with Frank. But again, sir, what institutions have you built? Stop playing. And he knows nobody's going to ask him that question. Nobody's going to follow up and say, well, what institutions have you built, Umar? The Dancer Project, they've built more than him. They need to stop minimizing what they've done.
We're being questioned and criticized by people who do nothing. And that's why I'm so tight-lipped on it, because I'm like, I don't owe you no answers. On top of the fact you never donated, on top of the fact you never drove by there and picked up a piece of trash, you questioning something that you don't support financially, you questioning something that you've never been a part of in your entire life. You've never been a part of anything that progressive as building an institution. So why are you expecting me to be accountable to you?
Why are you not accountable to your donors? I think a better question is, why are your donors not asking this questions? That's fine. You're not accountable to me. That's perfectly fine. Your little abandoned rib shack crack house over there, sure, you're not accountable to me. I'm going to keep dunking on you. That's going to not stop. But why are you not accountable to your donors? Why don't you feel compelled to tell your donors what you're doing? Why are you not compelled to work with your donors and make sure they know what's going on? They're going to be the ones that go out and evangelize and get more donors. They're going to go out and replicate and mushroom this idea out there in the space. But sir, you're not even doing that. I'll wait, because my institution is thriving. My institution is doing great. Absolutely, man. We are doing a fantastic job. My daughters are doing wonderful. My wife is doing magnificent. Sir, I'm not holding my head down in shame at all. What about you?
So how do you keep it together? Back to that mental health thing. Like, how do you feel?
I'm going to be honest with you. The haters, the struggle streamers.
This dude calling somebody a struggle streamer while you over here, Mortisa, could you please give me some Cash App? Please give me a PayPal, Azelle. Please, please. You got the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to call somebody a struggle streamer? Dude, please stop it. Stop it. Please stop. More Cash Apps, please, sir. You over here calling somebody a struggle streamer. You streaming in your car. This is the best camera angle you've had in months, dude. Because you over on that iPhone 3 sitting there streaming from the doggone abandoned buildings. Please stop. All this stop.
They really helped toughen me up to the criticism, because we've been dealing with it from the first day we took a donation in St. Louis, Missouri, April of 2014.
So just stop and think what you just said. You've been collecting money, and I'm going to pretend like that number's true. I know there's some cats in this live chat right now who are going to say that number was probably 2009, 2008. I've heard lots of numbers sooner than that. But even if, let's just say it was 2014. Sir, that means you've been collecting money for 11 years. And you still ain't got the thing open. You still don't have the thing open. You don't even have a preschool, my guy. You don't even have an after-school program. Summer camp, what is that? Saturday tutorial, what you talking about, Willis? Nothing. Sir, your people, man. Umar supporters, come up here to the front of the church. Y'all need to get up here real close. Y'all need to get real close up here, Umar supporters. Why is it that y'all let that man play in your face like that? Do you like that kind of stuff? Are you a glutton for abuse? Do you just want to believe something so bad that you just accept anything, any kind of slop? I can't wait for this full interview to come out. I cannot wait. We're going to go through the whole thing, bar upon bar. So he's saying that the haters are toughening them up. How about getting work done should toughen you up? You would have fewer haters if you actually did work. If you actually had a Saturday program, a summer tutorial program, a book club, for crying out loud. My dude, just open a book club. Just say, look, we got the Umar Johnson abandoned building, used tire, rib shack, tax preparation, flower shop, book club. Something, dude. What's wrong with you? Finish this, Jason. Let's go.
St. Paul's College in Virginia went up for sale because that's what we wanted. We wanted that HBCU. But they wanted $2 million and we couldn't raise it in time, so they sold it to the Asians who currently have it now. So then that's when we said, well, we just gonna find us a regular school. So from 2014 till 2019, We school hunted. We found FDMG in 2017, but we couldn't afford it at the time.
Who is we? Is it the people in his mind? Hey, let me tell y'all a story real quick. I'll tell you a story. Y'all say that y'all like when I tell stories. So I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was a school teacher, I'm gonna tell you this because I gotta take Umar in doses. So everybody knows I was a first and second grade teacher, right? And one of my years, I had a little girl in my class, and let's just call her Patty. Okay, she was a black girl, very high yellow. So what that means is that she had very light skin. And she had what I would affectionately call red hair. I mean, she had kinky reddish hair. Cute little girl. She was just a great little kid. But she had a lot of behavioral problems. She just had like her emotional standards were just all over the place. She just could not get it together. Okay. And she wasn't in my class. So thank God she was not in my class. Patty was not in my class. She was in the class next door. And if you're a male in early education, you are the disciplinarian. So if you're a male on first grade hall, you're pretty much going to be the disciplinarian for the whole hallway. Okay. Everybody's going to send their kids to you. You go down into Mr. Whitaker's class. You go down into Mr. Whitaker's class and sit in there and finish this work. My teacher said I had to come in here and sit in your room and finish. Okay. It just happens, right? So one day I'm in my room teaching, doing my thing. I'm teaching. Teaching is going on, learning is happening, and I hear somebody screaming and caterwailing in the hallway. I said, "Hey, go shut that door. Shut that door." I don't even want no piece of. I don't know what it is. Let admin come and get it. And lo and behold, the door comes knocking. Oh, mercy! What is the deal? It's Patty. She is a crying. She is a snotting. She got a whole armful of books. Miss, my teacher told me to. Y'all know what it is. But, baby, just go and have a seat over there in the corner. Just go have a seat. I have a little desk over there. Just go have a seat over there. And you do your work. You don't bother me. We good. I don't care. I don't care what you was doing anywhere else. As long as you don't come here and bother me and bother my kids, I don't even care. You sit there, do your work, and we good to go. All right. So my kids went to, I think we're doing math. Don't quote me on that one, but we were finishing up the math lesson, and it was time for my kids to go to specials. So my class went to art that day, and the other teachers were still in the building, are still in their rooms. I don't remember why. They had a weird schedule. So my kids went to art. And so I'm sitting in there now. I took my kids to art, and I'm like, hey, Patty, what happened to you? And she falls out of her chair. I can see it as sure as my name is Jason right now. She falls out of her chair. She's like, I don't know. It's the voices in my head. They just keep It was the craziest story. I'm like, whoa. I said, hold on. Wait. We don't have voices in our head. Tell me what you mean. We kind of talked through it. She just has a lot of impulse control. Or lack of impulse control. I'm like, we ain't got no voices in our head, right? Because, I got my keys in my wallet. I'm ready to hit the door. We don't do that around here. But I just think it's funny because as much as you hear Umar talk about we, and you're like, well, who's this we? Like, is he like, oh, it's the voices in my head. It's the people in my head. He's like doing his Patty impersonation. My guy, nobody is here with you, my man. It's you. You are the it. You are the we. You're everything. Let's finish this up, Jason.
So we just stayed in negotiations with the owners, and then finally, February 2019, they gave it to us. So 5 years to find a school, which in my opinion, that's not a long time to raise the money and find it. 5 years ain't bad at all. And then you go from 19 to 25, right? So you're looking at 6 years of us renovating. It should have only taken us 2 or 3, but there was a lot of scamming going on with the contractors we were using. We really got done dirty by them. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to use Caucasian work.
So he also has this, there's a book called The Series of Unfortunate Events. I don't know what the book is about, but it seemed like Umar Johnson is like Umar Johnson's life. Everything happens to him. He's always the victim. Somebody is scamming him. Somebody's taking advantage of him. Somebody's impeding his cash app. Somebody's attacking his bank account. Somebody done did this. Somebody is always somebody else is doing something to Umar. It's never Umar like, hey, yo, I didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job of managing my resources. I didn't do a good job of picking the right contractors. Nope, it's always black folk is scamming them. Black contractors are scam. So in Delaware, mind you, every black contractor is a scam artist. That's basically what he's told us. So every electrician, painter, carpenter, HVAC person, whatever, lawn care, all of them are scammers because Umar can't seem to find one to take care of this. Man, boy, if you don't stop with this dumb stuff, but it's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And in a minute, it's going to be the city of Delaware's fault. That's why he can't get his certificate of occupancy, because the city of Delaware is being mean. They're being big meanie heads because they will not give me this. They won't give me this certificate of occupancy because they just hate me, and we're going to protest. We're going to go out there and boycott and rah, rah, rah. My guy, how about the fact that that building is dilapidated? That you never were going to get a certificate of occupancy. We know this. You know this. Everybody knows this. Stop playing. The reason you even called the county down there was so you could pick on them to be the bad guys.
Because I wanted to keep the money in the community. The people who gave us the money black. I want to keep the project black. Right. But I had to wake up one day and say, yo, if you're waiting on your people to do this for you, it may not get done. And let me put that in context. You're talking about the second smallest state in the country, right? So you don't have much to pull from anyway. And then the city of Wilmington requires that your contractors be licensed in the state and licensed in the city. Mm-hmm. So, for example, in Pennsylvania, if you're licensed by the Commonwealth, you can do work anywhere in the state. You got to be licensed in Delaware and then licensed again in Wilmington. Mm. You're already dealing with a small pool of available contractors, and then they add that on top. So I say it all the time. We have the best situation in the worst location. Mm. And when I say worst location.
So that's actually worse now. That's actually more egregious to say that these men or women, these contractors that have gone as far to get licensed in the state and then licensed in the city are all scammers. That's even more of a slap in the face. Yeah, I know y'all work hard to be a licensed electrician in Delaware. I know you also went above and beyond to be able to be licensed in the city of Wilmington, but y'all scammers. Painters, y'all scammers. Carpenters, scammers. Floor, scammers. Everybody, scammers, except Umar. Okay. Everybody's a scammer except Umar. Okay. He building institutions, y'all.
I'm simply speaking of the limited pool of resources in terms of contractors and the strict stipulations that are required for you to work on a project there. You know, if that same school was in Detroit, Chicago, Philly, we'd be done already. Only because you got so many plumbers, you got so many HVAC.
Right. But you said the building was already renovated. You said it was ready to go when you was on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the Phony False and Fake God. So what do you need to do all this stuff for if you remember the $13 million renovation? It's state of the art. Maybe editor Jason can put that clip in there where he's talking about how the building was state of the art and all this kind of jazz like that. What do you need to do? So either A, you lied to Charlamagne, or B, you're lying to Danza Project, or C, you just steady lying to everybody. Everybody getting a lie.
You got so many elections. You could go through 30 of them until you hit the right one. But you in the second smallest state, only a handful of black folks, you know what I mean? Yeah. Contractors that you can really, you know, go to. And everybody we used came highly recommended, by the way. We didn't just grab people. These were people say, get him, get them. We got the people we were told to get. And they still didn't do us right.
Wait, hold on. That's even worse now. So not only did I go above and beyond to get licensed in Delaware, now I'm licensed in Wilmington. I give you 10 references, and they say, man, Jason is a great electrician. You need to get with JWhit, get it lit with JWhit. That's his company. You need to work with him. And I'm still going to be a scammer, but I got all these recommendations, and I'm still scamming. But I ain't scamming nobody else but you. This dude is hot. Please let this video drop when I got time. Shout out to the Danza Project. I think the Danza Project is trying their best. I really do. I really want to give them, because I know content creating is hard. I know it. But Umar Johnson is not the lick that y'all thought he is.
The pool is so small, and the competition isn't great. It's tough, you know.
And we ran into situations where sometimes, if I don't take the plumber, the electrician say I can't take the job. You feel me? Because that's my man. Right. So since you're not taking him, I can't do it. I'm like, damn. What that got to do with you? I need this. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of that where I like the electrician, don't like the plumber. I like the HVAC guy, don't like the electrician. So, you know, it's networks. Yeah. You know, and you're dealing with a really small city, and you are outsider coming from Philly. I had to deal with some of that too. You know what I mean? Because even though I get a lot of love and
see what I mean? Like, everything is a series of unfortunate events. Like, oh man, there's a network. The painter and the electrician are in cahoots. Oh man, I'm from Philly and Wilmington. You know, oh man, nothing is Umar's fault. Nothing. This man takes no accountability for anything. Not a thing, man. Like, dude, take ownership. Say, you know what, man? I need to tap some white folk and just do it and get it done. But even more than that, apparently it's done though, right? So why are we even belly aching, lamenting it? Why are we not talking about the fact that you got these floors allegedly are being laid this weekend? How about that? Because you're at the finish line, apparently. Right? Remember, he's at the finish line. All you got to do is get the floors, certificate of occupancy. Okay, I got you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.